Okay, let's jump right in. We've got a single source in front of us today.
Yep, just one. It's an announcement called EstateX. Miles Deutscher joins as brand ambassador.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is, well, pretty focused. Just unpack this source, figure out what it's claiming about this partnership.
Exactly. The core news, according to this document, is a link up between a project, EstateX, and someone they describe as a major crypto figure, Miles Deutscher.
Yeah, and the source really wants us to see this as a big deal.
It frames it pretty clearly.
That's the hook, isn't it? Miles Deutscher, who the source says is, well-known, becoming their brand ambassador.
And they explicitly state, quote, "This is not your average KOL partnership."
KOL, right, key opinion leader, basically an influencer for anyone not deep in the jargon. So they're setting expectations high from the start.
They are. And the source then tries to justify why it's not average. It dives straight into his influence.
Okay, how so?
Well, first with numbers. It highlights his social media reach, specifically calling out, quote, a staggering 624,000 plus followers on Twitter.
Wow, okay, so quantifiable reach, that's the starting point.
But it doesn't stop there. It builds on that, talking about his reputation.
What kind of reputation does the source describe?
It calls him, quote, one of the most respected, followed, and influential minds in crypto. Strong words.
Very. Does it say why he's supposedly so respected?
It does. It claims he's known for spotting altcoin gems early, predicting sector rotations, and this is a big one, moving markets.
Moving markets. That's quite a direct claim for an official announcement like this.
It really is. Spotting gems, finding smaller cryptos with potential. Sector rotations, guessing which part of the market gets hot next.
And moving markets implies his words or actions can directly affect prices or trading volume.
That's certainly what the source suggests here. And it connects this influence not just to his public profile, like Twitter. It puts a lot of weight on his private community, something called the Miles High Club.
Okay, what does the source say about this club?
It describes it as, quote, a private alpha community renowned for creating massive buy pressure and volume spikes around major launches.
Alpha community. So like a private group sharing insider tips or early info.
Pretty much. And the source is very direct in claiming this group has real market impact, massive buy pressure, volume spikes.
So the source is saying this group's coordinated buying can actually, push prices and activity up significantly.
That's the claim being made right here in the announcement. And it links this directly to EstateX, saying he'll, quote, promote EstateX heavily here.
Right, and it calls this private group the place, quote, where the big moves happen before the crowd even blinks.
Yeah, it suggests a strategy, perhaps, of leveraging these tight-knit communities for launch momentum.
Interesting angle. Does the source outline what this promotion will actually, look like?
It does give some specifics. It says we should expect, quote, dedicated Twitter X posts for Miles to his massive audience.
Okay, public posts. Makes sense.
And also, quote, strategic activations inside his exclusive community. Less public, more targeted.
Right, leveraging that claimed buy pressure.
And generally, quote, amplified momentum leading up to the EstateX launch. It frames the whole thing as combining real estate with, quote, real alpha in front of hundreds of thousands of tuned-in investors.
So the source is painting a picture of a multi-pronged promotional push, both public and private.
Exactly. It wraps up by saying he's, quote, no stranger to impact, and that this partnership puts EstateX, quote, right at the forefront of what's coming next.
And the final description
Calls the partnership, quote, a statement, bringing EstateX firepower, credibility, and serious influence.
Okay, let's just recap the core claims from this specific source. We have the EstateX Miles Deutscher partnership.
Yep. Highlighting his 624K plus Twitter followers.
And a reputation, according to the source, for spotting gems, predicting trends, and maybe even moving markets.
Plus, a big focus on his private Miles High Club community.
Which the source claims generates massive buy pressure and volume spikes.
And the expectation of dedicated posts and community actions to boost EstateX.
Got it. So that's what this single announcement wants us to take away.
It definitely provides a particular narrative about influence in this space. Something to keep in mind as you see other projects announced.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with a thought, maybe for you listening. When a source like this one explicitly talks about bringing firepower and serious influence and connects an individual and their private community to potentially moving markets, what does this specific account suggest about how marketing and influence are perceived to work in the crypto world today? Something to think about.